This is a rose cake instead of roses for Rose from Rose's fiance, and it's honestly one of my favorite order forms I've ever received. My client reached out and said his fiance is turning 27 and her name is Rose, and she really leans into her name. She loves roses. He wanted a cream and red cake and gave me full creative freedom, but did let me know that they didn't want any ruffles on the cake. So instead of doing ruffles at the base of the cake like I normally do, I started making these like rose petal scallops. The scalloped border at the base and top of the cake, this was like the first thing that I had envisioned when thinking about the design of the cake, and it turned out exactly how I pictured it in my head. I love it so much. It's so fun and unique. I got the top scallops started, and then I went back to the base of the cake so I could start working on the sides. And then I used a Wilton 1M at the meeting point of each half rose. I filled in those gaps with some shell piping, making sure to have a good base later for all of my drop lines. And then I moved on to the upper side of the cake. I knew I was going to do drop lines at the base, so I really wanted to do them on the side as well. I used a petal tip underneath my drop lines to make kind of like a petal swoop. And drop lines are having a moment in this household, okay? I'm obsessed with them, and I thought that one row wasn't enough, so I added a second, and then I was like, that's not enough, so I added a third. I'm really happy I did this. I feel like it balances out the sides of the cake really, really well. And then I used that same petal tip from before to go in at the meeting point of each drop line section, and I started making little half roses on the side of the cake. I started doing this a few months ago, and it's quickly started finding its way into a lot of my cake designs. I love how it looks. This cake was like the perfect excuse to be able to do them on the sides. I actually used 3 different piping tips for this. I wanted them to feel small in the center and then bigger on the way out, just like real roses. I think I killed these. They're so cute. I actually did try to add some leaves, but I felt like it ruined the look of the roses, so I scraped them off and just kept it like this. I started adding drop lines at the base of the cake, starting with a light pink. I wanted the drop lines to be overlapping, so I skipped a shell between each drop line set. And then that light pink one was actually going to be a highlight underneath the last set of red, just so it would stand out a little bit more. I finally used a star tip to close the seam of all of the shell piping, and I freaking love this. I think it's so cute. Now at this point, I'm like, okay, I think I'm done with the sides, but I need to go in and add all of my sprinkles before I can see the full vision. So I added medium sprinkles at the meeting point of each drop line, and then I used giant sprinkles at the meeting point of each scalloped rose. I did more medium sprinkles at the base of each side rose, and then I added 2 tiny sprinkles underneath just to add a little bit more something. I patted myself on the back because the sides looked absolutely freaking perfect, and then I went back to the top to finish it off. I wanted it to look like a giant rose on the outside when you're looking at it from above, and I really think I achieved that with more petals. Closed up the raw edges with the shell border, and then I tried to write happy 27th rose 3 separate times. I finally got it on the 3rd go around, and then I added more sprinkles to the top using medium and tiny sprinkles. I swear the sprinkles brought this entire cake together. Without them, I wouldn't love it as much as I do. But you guys, after adding the edible glitter, I'm like, oh my gosh. I can confidently say this is some of my best work. I am so obsessed with the uniqueness of this design. I feel like it's such a perfect blend of my signature style and roses. I love it so much. I hope my client loved it. I hope you guys love it. I hope you have the best day. Okay, love you, bye.